Now, as part of Nelson Mandela Month, the National Reading Coalition is running a campaign to encourage a culture of reading. The NRC, together with the Department of Basic Education and the National Education Collaboration Trust, plan to provide over 17,000 mother tongue storybooks to learners and parents. Let's find out more about this campaign. Dr. Deva Govender, who is the Education Program Manager at the National Education Collaboration Trust. Dr. Govender, good afternoon. Thank you very much for time. It sounds like a very beautiful, meaningful campaign that you are doing. Why the focus on mother tongue storybooks?
Good afternoon, Dan, and good afternoon to your listeners. Thank you for this opportunity. Well, the focus on African languages and reading in particular is part of this campaign for several reasons. One is the need for providing reading books in the indigenous languages so that we increase the availability of reading materials at schools and at homes. Secondly, the research is showing us that competency in reading in the mother tongue actually facilitates easier learning and quicker learning in the other languages. Of course, there are other important reasons for this campaign in providing reading books is the significance and importance of acquiring reading skills early, in the early grades. And there is also a lot of evidence that shows that if our children do not read for meaning in the early years, at least in the first 4 to 6 years, they are going to be disadvantaged when it comes to success in education and even success in their future careers. So reading, particularly in the early grades, is so important for the future life and success of our children. Apart from education, there is the usefulness of reading for enjoyment. And once our learners acquire the reading skills, they are able to read for learning. So success in the other subjects is dependent on reading for meaning in the early years.
Yeah. Now, was it easy for you to source African storybooks in African languages? I mean, I don't know if we publish enough of them in this country. A few years ago, I was interviewing, people who are involved with literature, and one of the biggest challenges was there's not enough material that's written and published in terms of African languages. Was it easy for you to gather these storybooks for distribution?
So, Dan, you are absolutely right. There is a huge imbalance when it comes to reading books in English and Afrikaans compared to what's available in the indigenous languages. So the NECT, working with the Department of Basic Education, engaged its very senior and experienced educationists. Actually, they are retired educationists, to write books for learners in the foundation phase. So simple storybooks in 9 languages were written, and 121 of these books were written. And these were printed and are now available, while 17,200 copies were printed, and they are now available for distribution, and they are being distributed as part of this campaign to 20,000 learners. And that, we hope, will be an addition to the little that we have. So, in fact, an audit was done 6 or 8 months ago to look at the availability of not only titles in the African languages, but also the radio programs. So there is an imbalance, and suitability for the different grades is another issue. So the big gap is books in the 9 African languages that are needed for the first 4 grades, grades 1 to 4.
Okay.
And this campaign becomes very significant given the reading loss that occurred in 2020 and 2021 due to COVID. I mean, if you take the grade 3 learner in 2022, that learner was disadvantaged in 2020 when she was in grade 1, and also disadvantaged in 2021 when she was in grade 2. So which means we have a large number of learners in grade 3 who are starting to learn the skills that we normally would develop in grade 1 and grade 2. So these books are going to play a very significant.
Now, finally, Dr. Govender, thank you for that. At least you've got a stock there that's available, and hopefully it will add to other books. Finally, and very briefly, if you may, Dr. Govender, is this a 1-month only campaign because of under the Nelson Mandela Month initiative? I mean, Nelson Mandela, of course, being born on the 18th of July, it was just Nelson Mandela Day yesterday. Is this going to be an ongoing program that you as a National Reading Coalition, you as in the NECT and the Department of Basic Education are going to do for the foundation phase?
Yes, so it's not a once-off event. It's going to be a continuous event, a program that started 2 years ago. So the National Reading Coalition is a coordinating structure that brings together government, teacher unions, and all organizations that work in the reading space. So that structure is going to be reinforcing the education that happens in the school, what teachers do in the early grades when they teach reading skills. So beyond the classroom, we are looking at how we could mobilize communities so that the parents and community leaders can support learners at home, in the churches, on reading, through reading activities.
Okay.
A second part that will continue is continued resourcing. Also, the use of 15,000 reading champions who have been employed as part of the President's employment initiative. And clearly, 15,000 of those unemployed youth with at least a grade 12 certificate have been in schools for 2 years, and that will continue. They are there to help almost 75% of the schools with reading activities. So, Dan, there are a number of initiatives that will continue. And time doesn't permit me, but there are also other initiatives that go with this. The teacher development, working with universities so that these young aspiring teachers are equipped with the proper skills to teach reading, and of course, policy development with the National Department of Education. So the NECT is working with the DBE to set up a language unit at the national office.
That's a brilliant, it's a brilliant initiative because, I mean, as we conclude, I mean, I interviewed an educationist in January here on eNCA after the announcement of the 2021 matric results. And they said that there is evidence worldwide that when you teach children all these kind of subjects like mathematics, physical science, geography, biology, history, and so on in the indigenous language, the level of understanding and grasp, it deepens. And she said to me, she's an Afrikaans-speaking South African, she said she wonders if she would have achieved what she has done as an educationist if she had been taught, not taught in Afrikaans. And thankfully she was taught through her mother tongue, which is Afrikaans. It's a brilliant initiative, and all the best, Dr. Govender, to you at NECT and the Department of Basic Education. Dr. Deva Govender, he's the Education Program Manager at the National Education Collaboration Trust.